Hey everyone, in today's episode, we're diving into the latest tech news. Alienware unveiled a 4K dual-mode monitor, Corsair's latest cooling solution, and detailed benchmarks of the Ryzen 9900 series processors. We'll also cover latest hardware announcements. All this and more coming up, so stay tuned on Edge Runners. First up, Alienware has just dropped a 27-inch 4K display that gives gamers the best of both worlds and has the potential to land on our best gaming monitors list. The AW2725QF has two modes, a native 4K mode with 180Hz refresh rate and a native Full HD mode with a 360Hz refresh rate. This allows you to enjoy immersive games with smooth animations, and with a push of a button, you can also gain the upper hand in competitive games with the competitive 360Hz refresh rate. The Alienware monitor can achieve this kind of refresh rate by combining 4 pixels into 1 in the Full HD and 360Hz mode. But aside from its sharp resolution and ultra-high refresh rate, the AW2725QF also covers 95% of DCI-P3 with a Delta E, less than 2 accuracy straight out of the box for nearly lifelike colors. It also has Dolby Vision and is VISA Display HDR 600 certified, making it the ultimate display for both entertainment and creative work. This display is also Nvidia G.Sync compatible and is certified with VISA Adaptive Sync. This guarantees that you won't experience tears and stutters while gaming, and its 0.5 milliseconds gray-to-gray response time means you'll have minimal ghosting and blurring that could throw off your aim. With its dual HDMI 2.1 ports and single DisplayPort 1.4 connector, this dual-resolution gaming monitor can be used with your preferred gaming platform. It also has a single USB-B 3.2 upstream port that gives you 3 USB-A ports and 1 USB-C port on the display, making it convenient to attach your peripherals. But despite all these features, Alienware is doing one thing right: the monitor is just $600, a great deal for those looking for a display that will give them everything they need in the professional and gaming worlds. Moving on to cooling solutions, Corsair has unveiled a new series of closed-loop liquid cooling systems, the IQ Link Titan RX RGB, which includes models with radiators size 240, 280, and 360 millimeters. The IQ Link Titan RX RGB series features the new flow drive pump. According to the manufacturer, the pump's 3-phase motor ensures quieter operation, more efficient cooling, and higher flow rates compared to previous models. However, specific pump characteristics have not been disclosed by the company. Included with the IQ Link Titan RX RGB series are new RX RGB fans. The 240 and 360 models use 120mm fans with speeds ranging from 300 to 2100 RPM, generating airflow up to 73.5 CFM. The 280mm model uses two 140mm fans with speeds from 300 to 1700 RPM, producing airflow up to 94.7 CFM. Additionally, Corsair offers cap swap modules for the IQ Link Titan RX RGB series, which are pump covers with different functionalities. One such module features a screen that displays useful system information and animated images, while another includes a built-in fan that not only cools the liquid further, but also the surrounding area near the motherboard's power delivery subsystem and RAM modules. The third option serves purely as a decorative element. The manufacturer claims compatibility of the IQE Link Titan RX RGB liquid cooling systems with Intel LGA 1851 and LGA 1700 processor sockets, as well as AMD AM5 and AM4 respectively. All models will be available in white and black versions and come with a 6-year warranty. Pricing information has not been disclosed. AMD continues to push the boundaries with their new Ryzen 9000 series processors based on the Zen 5 architecture. The 12-core Ryzen 9900X and the 16-core Ryzen 9950X. Both chips deliver enhanced single-threaded and multi-threaded performance in creative applications. Both processors come with integrated RDNA2 graphics, making them ideal for systems without a discrete GPU. The Ryzen 9900 series is great for Linux users, developers compiling a lot of code, using any AI or HPC-type workloads, leveraging AVX512, or even just running lots of Python scripts or applications and other workloads with nice generational uplift there. For those that may be tasking Ryzen for servers in small offices or home offices, the Ryzen 9900 series offers great performance there too, across a wide variety of database and server workloads. The raw performance has been great, and the power efficiency of Zen 5 continues to be very compelling. Now let's move on to the results of the benchmarks performed. If compiling a Linux kernel build with all available modules, rules, more than 1 minute of time savings was to be had, or the Ryzen 9950X could compile the kernel in about 52% the time it took the aging Ryzen 5950X. The Ryzen 9900X build speed was just behind the Core i9-14900K. Churning out software quicker, whether frequently compiling code on your desktop or looking at Ryzen for servers in a CI/CD type build farm. And the Ryzen 9900 series were continuing to show to be more power efficient than the Ryzen 7900 series and the Intel Core 13th and 14th gen processors. Do a lot of code compilation? The Ryzen 7900 series are fantastic. Significant time savings over even the Ryzen 7900 series and the Core i9-14900K, not coming close to the Ryzen 9 9900X and 9950X when compiling large code bases. For 7-zip compression performance, the Ryzen 9950X has shown healthy gains over the 7950X and 7950X 3D. The Ryzen 9950X was around 9% faster than the Core i9-14900K. For those doing a lot of code compilation either as part of a software development job, running a source-based Linux distribution like Gentoo or Arch Linux, or looking at Ryzen for budget servers for a CI/CD build farm, the Ryzen 7950X is a fabulous option for its performance and power efficiency. Across all of the code bases tested, there were great speed-ups with the Ryzen 9950X and 9900X compared to the Intel competition and prior Ryzen 7000 series parts. Across the dozens of creator workloads from Blender and other renderers to imaging tasks and similar workloads, the Ryzen 9950X G.Skill mean there was 1.18x the performance of the Ryzen 7950X or 1.42x the performance of the Core i9-14900K. Likewise, the Ryzen 9950X and 9900X dominated in the machine learning benchmarks from TensorFlow to OpenVINO thanks to the 512-bit data path AVX512 implementation. Finally, if we take the geometric mean of all performance results, the Ryzen 9950X came out to being 17.8% faster than the Ryzen 7950X. The Ryzen 9900X meanwhile was 21.5% faster than the Ryzen 7900X across this wide mix of workloads. The Ryzen 9950X was 33% faster than the Intel Core i9-14900K performance overall, and even the Ryzen 9900X was 18% faster than the Core i9-14900K. For those still on AM4, the Ryzen 9950X was delivering 1.87x the performance of the Ryzen 5950X processor. These are some great gains found with the Ryzen 9900 series. A slam dunk in performance, value, and power efficiency with the AMD Ryzen 9 9900 series compared to the competition. However, reviewers of the new processors agree that while the Ryzen 9950X and Ryzen 9900X are compelling, particularly in terms of performance in resource-intensive applications, they face significant competition in the gaming segment. For instance, instead of the Ryzen 9950X, it might be more reasonable to purchase a Ryzen 7800 X3D or Core i7-13700K for gaming. This would save up to $300, which can be invested in a more powerful graphics card, ensuring a more substantial increase in frames per second. Nvidia has introduced the compact professional graphics card RTX 2000E. This new model is a variation of the original RTX 2000 Ada, which was released earlier this year. Both cards share very similar specifications, but there are some differences between them. Perhaps the most obvious visual difference between the RTX 2000 Ada and the RTX 2000E Ada models lies in their dimensions. The RTX 2000 Ada version is 2 expansion slots, whereas the RTX 2000E Ada model is just 1 expansion slot. Both cards are low profile and do not require additional power. However, the power consumption of the RTX 2000E Ada is 50 watts, which is 20 watts less than that of the RTX 2000 Ada. The RTX 2000E Ada is powered by the AD107 GPU with 28 16 CUDA cores and 16 GB of GDDR6 ECC memory, supporting a 128-bit memory interface. While the memory bandwidth of this card is not its strong suit, the large amount of RAM can be beneficial for workloads involving large language models and generative AI models. In other news, SK hynix remains the leading producer of advanced versions of HBM memory, but it lags behind Samsung Electronics in overall production scale. The necessity to reallocate part of the DDR5 production lines to focus on HBM3 and HBM3E has forced market participants to increase prices for the former type of product. As a result, SK hynix has raised DDR5 prices by 15 to 20%. If the price increase had been driven by more natural factors, such as a cyclical return in demand for DRAM, it would not have have been as significant. The development of artificial intelligence systems is driving increased demand not only for HBM chips but also for traditional DDR, as new server capacities are required that cannot be scaled using only HBM-equipped accelerators. This year, SK hynix plans to reallocate more than 20% of its DRAM production capacity to HBM, while Samsung Electronics is ready to repurpose 30% of its existing DRAM production lines. However, for Samsung to make the most of these efforts, it first needs to secure substantial orders from companies like Nvidia. So far, comments from representatives of the South Korean company indicate that the certification process for this product to meet the client's requirements is still ongoing. Looking ahead, AMD has several exciting announcements on the horizon. On October 10th, the company plans to unveil its next-gen Zen 5 core architecture, with products ranging from servers and data centers to laptops and more. The lineup includes the 5th-gen EPYC Turin CPUs, the Instinct MI325X accelerator, and new Ryzen AI Pro 300 series chips. The Instinct MI325X will be a refresh of the MI300X, featuring up to 288GB of HBM3E VRAM and a staggering 6 TB per second bandwidth. AMD is also set to introduce the Strix Halo and Kraken Point APUs at CES 2025, targeting both the enthusiast and mainstream markets. With up to 16 CPU cores and 40 GPU cores, these APUs promise a new level of performance. Moving to memory news, G.Skill has announced the release of new Trident Z5 RGB and Z5 Royal series memory modules with a speed of 6400 MHz and low latency of CL30. These new products will be available in dual-channel kits with a total capacity of 32 GB. The RAM modules are designed to support both Intel XMP 3.0 and AMD Expo overclocking profiles. The Trident Z5 RGB memory sticks come equipped with cooling heatsinks in white and black and white variations, featuring RGB lighting. The more premium Trident Z5 Royal modules boast mirrored heatsinks in silver and gold colors, also with RGB lighting. For all the presented Trident Z5 RGB and Z5 Royal DDR5 6400 CL30 modules, the working voltage is stated to be 1.40 volts. The manufacturer has not disclosed the pricing of these new modules, but mentioned they will be available for sale this month. Last but not least, in early August, Taiwanese chip developer MediaTek announced its plans to unveil the flagship mobile processor, Dimensity 9400, in October, which will support most of the large language models available in the market. Additionally, with the support of Nvidia, the company aims to release its first AI-powered PC chip in the first half of 2025, as reported by Canadian resource WCCF Tech and Chinese site MyDrivers. The chip is currently in the design phase, but testing will begin this quarter. It will be an ARM processor co-developed by MediaTek and Nvidia, equipped with Wi-Fi 7 and 5G support, and is set to enter the market in the second quarter of 2025. MediaTek decided to create its own AI PC chip following Qualcomm's launch of the Snapdragon X Elite series processors. According to unconfirmed reports, the MediaTek processor will be manufactured by TSMC using a 3nm process. Nvidia's involvement in the project will help the Taiwanese developer achieve a breakthrough in integrated graphics. Given MediaTek's experience in designing high-performance yet power-efficient mobile processors, the AI PC chip could deliver impressive results in both performance and efficiency. MediaTek and Nvidia are also collaborating on automotive processors, with the first expected to be released in early 2025. According to MediaTek CEO Rick Tsai, significant advancements in the automotive segment are anticipated by 2027 or 2028. Thanks for watching our latest tech roundup. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more updates. Got thoughts or questions? Drop them in the comments below. See you next time.